Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to. I'm sorry. I'm Chris Adams, the Tech Master. Welcome to. Joined by. Wow. I'm sorry. I messed that up
Well, what's
completely.
happening right now?
I'm sorry. Okay, let me just. Woo! I'm sorry. I'm.
What was
Whatever.
that?
Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Babble Z episode 408. I'm Chris Adams, the Tech Master. Joined by.
RPG Maniac 05.
And Trioptical.
That was a
Look,
much better
man.
one.
Nobody can be 100% of the time. We all make mistakes. It happens.
Yep, that was just wow.
Sometimes we have a bit of a meltdown mentally, and it's like, we're talking and we're doing things live, and it's like we can't really do anything. It's like, oh, just keep on rolling, man. Just keep on rolling. But yeah, we've got what you've been playing, Hypothetical Hour, or whatever it's called, Tropical, and some news. Just a teeny tiny bit. I don't know actually how much news we have, but we've got some news, so more than none. There you go.
Just the tip.
Nah. We're missing the W and the S, just the nah. But, well, that doesn't really help, does it? Yeah, what I've been playing. So, I guess I'll talk about Gran Turismo Sport, really, because first I'll talk about it, then I'll just, Destiny 2, stay away. It's just, it's a trap right now. But yeah, so Gran Turismo Sport, there's a December update that added the Tokyo Expressway South Loop, I think. There's like one new track, and then like a layout of some other track that they've added. A bunch of cars. Well, not a bunch, like 7. I mean,
Tesla.
whatever amount, half dozen, whatever, decent amount. Yeah, Tesla. I bought it, but I didn't get to test it out because I wanted to see what the electric acceleration would be like with the electric. But I didn't check it out yet. So when I finish the podcast, I will get back on there. What else? Oh, they added some like really expensive McLaren, and I bought it for like 3 million credits or something because I've been saving up credits because I've been trying to play it every day. I've been doing decently, like 70%, okay. But yeah, that cost a lot. I didn't get to drive it, but eventually I'm sure it's an amazing car. I almost have all of the license thingies, or are those license thingies? I think they're whatever, the little thingies that you do to get, the license thingies. I almost got gold on all those, so I think I have like just the last few. They're not licenses this time. It's like way easier in this one than like they were in the past, but it's just like a driving course or whatever they're called. So there's that, and I still haven't gone online because I feel like I missed my window when I was like doing all the course mastering. I should have just did that at the same time of like getting all the corners memorized and like all the courses, and then playing online. I'd be like, alright, I've got my lines down, and then optimizing my way through the courses and how to drive through the tests and stuff. But whatever, I can still go back and do it. That being said, it's not like it's easy at all to podium or get a top 3 or pole position or any of that crap. So there will always be time in that game to get better and do better. So yeah, French was smart. Still chasing the dream of getting those cars that are just 20 million credits. Why? Like that'll take forever. Whatever. I'm level 39, getting to 40, so eventually I have no idea. I look on the thing and I'm like, see people that are like level 60 or whatever when I'm looking at the liveries and all the other stuff, and like you see their profiles. It's like, how did they get this? I mean, maybe it's the only game they play. I don't know. Maybe. Whatever. So yeah, but yeah, Gran Turismo Sport. And it seems like every month they're adding stuff, or at least however often they're adding stuff to keep coming back for and keep playing. So yeah, it's like a reverse free to play because you paid money to play this game. It was not free, but yeah, you'll grind for it because I mean, or you could also spend money because that's a thing too in the game. It's weird, this is the darkest timeline we live in. Money, dear boy, money.
Dark timelines.
Besides that, oh my gosh, Destiny 2. We know.
How much you love it? Yes.
Pour one out because I think this is the one, man. This is the one that's going to stick it to them really good. Because I was playing, and I was like, I felt like I just jumped on a treadmill. I'm like, oh, what's this? All right, I'm just walking along. Oh yeah, like got my blood pumping. My vitals are going inside, fine. Life is looking up. Things are going good. I got my jams pumping to keep me going. I was like, yeah, I am the tiger, da, 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 as I'm going on that treadmill. And I'm like, all right, these first few grindy parts of this quest, it's like, all right, dude, I got this. I got this. You know, I'm in the Black Armory. I'm at the Exo that hates you because you're a guardian. It's like, what? You know what I've done for this city to save you? Get the F out of here, Exo lady. You don't know what you're talking about. But that's their whole other thing of like, you know, if they were given the Guardians their sweet weapons, who were they giving them to? Normal people? Have you ever played Destiny? Have you ever been in that universe? Do you know how long a normal person would last in the Darkness Zone, in the EDZ, anywhere in the quarantines
Not
of like
very,
the outside the
because they
city?
don't have
Exactly. RPG.
superpowers.
It's like, have you ever ventured outside those gates? Because a normal person could die. They could die from pretty much anything. It's like, oh no, I got tetanus. I'm not a guardian. My ghost won't bring me back. I could die. I could die from old age. I'm not a guardian. I
Wait,
don't
why
live forever. I'm not made of
tetanus?
light. I'm not a guardian. I get shot. I die. My ghost can't resurrect me. It's like, oh, resurrect me, ghost. Oh wait, I'm not a guardian. I don't have a ghost. I'm dead. It's like, what? Who? What? Like, who came up with this? Who did? It's like,
Although,
the person
do
that
we
conceive
know?
of this know of the fiction within the universe and game they're in that it exists? Because I'm just saying,
Wait,
dude.
but,
It's like,
but,
no
but do we
person.
but do we know if the guns still have special powers if they're not if they're used by a non-guardian or?
I would imagine so. They have like awesome guns, but it's like, what's it going to matter if you're like instantly dead by like things because you're
Well,
not
I
a
mean,
guardian?
you still have to be hit by these things in order to, get deaded by them. So, in theory, if the guns are powerful enough or have some kind of, way to make you at least somewhat formidable, yeah, your body might not be a bullet sponge, but I mean, as long as you kill everything else first, in theory, you should technically be okay.
RPG, yeah, when there are hive shriekers that are just like pew, 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 or like knights that come up to you and they're like sword slice, boomer, arc, explosion, explodey thralls all exploding on you, thralls all scratching on you. Yeah, have fun being a non-guardian in that scenario. Or Vex that just teleport out of time and space and they're just like pew pew pew. I can instantly shoot you with my line rifle. Because
I imagine the normal people can go beyond the invisible walls and get like really high and just like snipe or whatever. Whereas the Guardians are
he's
like,
not wrong.
I'm trying to get up here. Oh, there's an invisible wall.
He's not wrong.
yeah, whereas normal people need food and nourishment and warmth and all of these things that will keep you alive. Whereas Guardians like, oh man, I fell from like this thing into this thing. Ghost, resurrect me. Okay, Guardian. Yeah. And it's just like, you know what? Normal people, it's not gonna work well for them in this universe. I don't know why you would give them weapons. It's like they shouldn't even bother. Did you see what happened to the city when Gaul came? I'm just saying. That didn't last
Yeah,
long,
but
did
the
it?
Guardians
How'd that
lost
work
their
out?
powers too, though.
Yeah.
And then they were they were basically normal humans too, without their weird elemental powers that seem to just happen because magic.
And how long did that last? Yeah. And it's like, oh, they magically got them back.
Wait, so the story is actually she gives her weapons to regular people? And there's just regular people out there?
Well, she said she doesn't deal with with guardians or whatever or light bearers, and it's like, okay, well, if you don't deal with us, who do you deal with? Normal people.
Well, maybe she's like a black market weapons broker then, so she
Or
probably
like the Fallen.
Yeah, or like the Cabal or something. She could be supplying bad people.
That makes even less sense. I'm
Well,
just saying.
But wasn't there are the Awoken Guardians or Light Wielders?
Yes, tried to quote the Awoken.
They are.
Humans.
What
Or
about
they
the
can be. Not that they all are. Some of them aren't. They're normal.
Okay. What about the people in that camp that you got to at the beginning of Vanilla Destiny 2?
Wow, tried to
Were they?
The resistance people are not.
Just need to.
They're
Zariah
not.
and the dude.
They were not, right?
No, they were normal
Okay.
people who would use those weapons and be useless because they would die. I'm just saying. and they wouldn't be able to. I'm not saying they're useless because they would die. They're useless because they would die and not be able to get resurrected by their ghosts. Because it's like, you know.
Although it's possible that's intentional. She might be using them as like meat shields, and she's just like, just throw bodies at them until the Guardians can get their cool weapons, and then they'll clean up and take care of.
Major plot holes aside. ... So yeah. Besides that. Okay, where to begin? Where to begin? But basically, you've got that, which is just like, I'm kind of just like whatever at this point. And then also you've got the whole thing I said about like the off ramp in the campaign, as far as like when you get to the Barrens. It's basically exponentially worse because you basically do like 2 quest steps, and then like the next quest step is like find a forge and activate it. And then because they're just like, oh, honky dory guys, let's raise that power level to 650, and then you start at 600, and it's like, alright, I might have got this, I don't know how high it goes. And then you do the first wave, enemies are 610. Second wave, they're up to 615, 620. Third wave, 625. If you're 600 against 625 enemies, you're not able to damage them. It's like, I mean, you can. It's like not very easy, but it's like it's just like why? Could you not give us a content update and then immediately have us not be able to like play through it like 10 minutes after we?
Maybe they figured everybody was a Tekken and just grinded the crap out of the game. We're already prepared for that.
So it's like, in my old life, I would have been able to do this. I'd been down for the grind. I'd been like, let's do this. Let's just get all our power levels raised and like, blah, 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 blah. And then I come back and check today, and I see gamers at 606, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, I've like lost all motivation. It's like, I got to 605, 604, whatever, 605, 604, it's whatever. It's like, basically, my goal is basically to get to 610 by the end of the week, so I'm like, I'm not going to get to 650 anytime soon. And there's a new raid coming out, and it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to play that, so whatever, so... It's like, I have no enthusiasm now. I'm just like, slow and steady wins the race, dude. I'll get there tortoise style, just slowly but surely chomping off the giant mounds of food that I'm eating. Whatever. I'm slowly walking into the sunset to be the hair that is like burning in the sun. That's like, oh yes, haha, instantly, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. But yeah, just
I don't know where he was going with that.
But just just like I just wanna play
dance with somebody,
raid with my raid team, and I can't do that. So it's like I mean I guess I can, but then I'll get destroyed. But then maybe I'll get carried. Whatever. So
carry me, senpai.
But then it's like that's the other thing is like they were saying it's a new raid there, it's a new raid there, it's a new raid there, and like oh surprise it's a new raid, and then it's like. Smack in the face, you're not going to be able to play it because you can't even get through the new content that we just put out. It's like, last straw for me. I know I've said this like 1,000 times before, but this is like the legit nail in the coffin for me in like this game of just like, I wanted to believe. I wanted to believe. And Black Armory and machine guns are back. I love machine guns. Hey, machine guns. Oh, yeah. And then they just do this, and it's like, why? Why, Bungie? Why? Like, do you not care? Like, part of me is like, there's a conspiracy theory of like, maybe they knew that there'd be backlash, and that's why there's going to be like a patch on the 18th, and like they're just going to like fix all the crap that they knew people would hate anyway, and just like fix everything to quell the backlash of like, this is why we have a patch coming out this day, because we can like add even more into it, maybe. But you know what? It's like, like I said, it doesn't need too much time, and like, yet again, me too, I really wanted to enjoy this, and then you just smacked me in the face, and I was like, oh, Destiny, why? Just, yeah. I finally completed my like however many year sentence of Stockholm syndrome, and I'm no longer you have no power over me. Insert long monologue from the Labyrinth. Goblin King, Bungie.
I've never seen that, so I don't know what he's talking
about. You never seen the Labyrinth RPG?
No.
Oh, check it out, dude. Boy, some tight pants, and there's a baby in it. And that one actress lady, I can't think of her name, whatever. There's a whole bunch of cool practical effects.
Really sold me on it.
Puppets going on. Jim Henson joint, I think. I could be wrong. Whatever. Classical 80s awesomeness. Just saying. Just saying. It's a fun time. Um, but yeah, Destiny 2, too much time. Into the line. I've had enough. And after these annual pass months, and my after my sentence is up, I'm out of here. You're not gonna have Tekken Master around to push around anymore, and yeah, torture with your terrible game. So I learned my lesson, because man, grinding for that 7 or 650 after like getting to 600, and I like forgot how bad it was, because I was like, man, I didn't remember how bad it was, because I forgot like the proper order to like, when do I do my Nightfall, when do I get my powerful engrams, when do I use my prime engrams. I don't know, dude. I'm just gonna try and just get there slowly but surely. So, you know, hopefully by January or the end of January, I'll be there, and like, you know, we won't be to the next expansion, and I can like enjoy the current stuff without being left behind. But yeah, just need too much time. Avoid at all costs, I would say. I give this the Tekken approved stamp of death and destruction, and stay away from unless you hate your life and you hate loving things and being happy, because that's what it's gonna do to you. It's gonna just listen to me talk about this game every week, and like the cumulative that of all the toxicity and rage and anger and angst and just hatred and abhorrence of just like just all that, just like ball it all up, and then just inject it into your veins, and that's what it'll do to you. It'll make you a rage monster or something, and you don't want to be like that. Don't be like me in Tekken, where it's like I can't even play the game anymore. Be like without like for like an hour without saying I hate this game. It happened today on stream. It's like I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. So yeah, that's why I've been playing Destiny 2, and like you shouldn't play it. It's terrible. Just stay away. Stay away. It's a trap.
That's all you've been playing?
Yes, just Destiny, and I mean, yes, Tropical, because I bought Beat Saber, but I didn't get to play it.
You did buy it. It's so good. I've shown it to 3 other people, and their immediate reaction was like, "Oh, this is really cool." So, yes, soon. No, this week I mostly spent playing some VR stuff beyond Beat Saber, because you can only go in Beat Saber, or I can only go in Beat Saber for so long, and then I'm just like, this is the one game that has made me consistently really sweaty, like every time after I play it. So, you know, if I'm showing it to other people, I can play one song, and then I'm like, okay, now I gotta rest, otherwise, like, we're gonna have to bring out the baby wipes for the headset.
Oh my.
But one of the other ones that we tried was Super Hot VR, which I've had since it came out initially, but haven't played it yet. And then
It's actually funny that Tropical would like say that, and then like the game is called literally Super Hot. Just say
Super Hot.
break out the baby wipes. Oh yeah.
It gets pretty crazy. Have you played Super Hot, the original?
Nope.
No. It's a neat game. What is it? I guess it's kind of like first-person Hotline Miami, in that it's sort of these really action-type scenarios, but once you get down to it, it really is a puzzle game, in which you're trying to figure out the best way to like take everyone out. And in Hotline Miami, it's like top-down, and you move your character around to the different rooms and try to take out all the bad guys as efficiently as possible. And in Super Hot, it's first person, and time only moves when you move. So if you're not moving, time is essentially paused. And so you can do crazy things like, you know, any John Woo Hong Kong action flick type stuff. You can do all those things. And it sort of plays out in slow-mo as you're trying to do it. And then once you've completed the level, then you get to watch it play back at normal speed. And so Super Hot VR is essentially the same thing, except that since you're in VR, it's like you standing in this room, and then time only moves when you move your hands, so you can still look around with your head. And yeah, you're just trying to figure out how to kill all the guys that are trying to kill you with the items around, that are available, in slow motion, essentially. And you get to feel like an action hero, and it's like really cool. The game is also really trippy. I think I've mentioned it before on this show, where at the end of Super Hot, the original, it kind of makes me feel like I don't want to play it anymore because of something that the game explicitly tells me, and it's kind of a spoiler, so I'm not going to say. But it was just like, yeah, Super Hot VR starts out really trippy like that too. And so I was kind of, I was showing it to my neighbor who just bought a PlayStation 4 and a VR headset, and his came with Creed and Super Hot VR. And so when we were playing Super Hot and it started getting really weird into like the meta stuff in it, I was just like, I hope this isn't too weird for, normal non-gamer people. But he seemed to think it was really cool. So I was like, okay, cool. Everything's good. But the game that I spent the most time in VR this week with was Firewall 0 Hour, which is, I guess, kind of like old Rainbow Six, where you're on a team of 4 and you're fighting another team of 4, and every round is like an objective type thing where you have to find, I forget what it is exactly. You go to one point, you activate this one thing, it tells you where the next point is, and then you go to that point and activate that thing, and then you win. Or if you kill everyone on the other side, you win. Well, no, actually, that's not true. On attacking, you always have to get the second thing. Defending, if you kill all of the attackers, then you win. It is really good when it works. So I went in and I was playing by myself at first. I was like, I don't know if I really want to talk to strangers, because I understand this game is mostly online, and then it really requires a lot of like communication and like coordinating with your teammates. And I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do that, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to play, single player contracts. And they were like really, really dull. Essentially the same game, except that the enemy spawns endlessly, and then you're by yourself. And so they can come in from any direction, and you're by yourself. And it's just kind of like a shooting gallery. And they're not very good shots, so you're not feeling very challenged. You're just like, I don't know, maybe entertained by the fact that it's in VR, but other than that, it's just like, this is not that interesting. Oh, so before I get to the rest of it, like, you can use the DualShock 4 as your controller as well. And it's kind of neat in that the game uses like dual joysticks for regular first-person motion. But then to aim your gun, you actually hold up your DualShock 4, and like the camera like tracks where the controller itself is, and that's how you aim your gun. Or you can use the aim controller, which is that sort of big move controller that's shaped like a gun, roughly. And so yeah, like at first I was playing with DualShock 4 and I was like very surprised, like, oh, this actually works, and you can you're like holding up your controller to your face to aim, and then like pushing the triggers to shoot. But then I decided, okay, I'm gonna use the aim controller, and I guess I will go play online because this was really dull by myself. And I went online, and the first 3 or 4 games, there was just no one talking. And, sometimes, I think we lost all of them, but sometimes went better than others. And then this guy started talking, and he was just like wondering, oh, does anyone have a mic? And, stranger danger at first. I'm like, I'm not gonna unmute my mic.
It's a drop.
But then, we got to a point, like, I think I'm competitive, except that I don't really care if I win or lose. And so
I don't think that. I don't think that's the definition of competitive tropical. I'm just saying.
it's weird because like I feel it, you know, like I feel like I want to do well and win, but then when I lose, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah,
Next time.
No, that's not competitive.
No,
You
no
gotta want to win.
competitive spirit.
I mean, yeah. I guess that would just be good sportsmanship then, or just like maybe too good sportsmanship of like, whatever, man, we lost. Yeah, fun times. Want to win, but didn't. But man, when we had fun.
Maybe. But yeah, like it got to a point after you die in the game, you can switch to there's like preset camera locations on the maps that you can switch to, and then just look around with your VR headset, and you can help your other teammates who are still alive by calling out enemy positions and stuff. This was like my third game, so I didn't really know the maps or anything, but you know, I saw one person, the guy with the mic, someone's behind him, so I was like, okay, I gotta help him. So I turned it on and I started talking, and then we just started talking. And then, then the game got really awesome. Even with just like one other person on the team, like using mics, talking to each other, and like calling out positions, and like discussing strategies and stuff like that. Like the game was suddenly totally different. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And we started winning a few, and then another guy came in and he had a mic, and then we three were coordinating, and then we had a fourth guy who, and this was really weird. So it was like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. on a Saturday in the US, but everyone I was playing with was not from the US. Like the guy I first started talking to was from Germany. The second guy who joined us was from the UK. Later, other Germans and Italians were like with us, and like, and then one guy who mostly spoke Spanish, and then another guy who I'm pretty sure was Japanese, and just like he never spoke until this one like really critical moment where suddenly he said behind and we won that game because like he called out the position. It was like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. Yeah, it was
The
it
darkest
was really...
timeline has caused us all to be fearful of the other. Who knew?
But it was really awesome, and it kind of reminded me of when I was playing Star Trek Bridge Crew. And at that time, I thought, it's like, well, you know, Star Trek fans, like, of course. And since we're talking the language of Star Trek, like, anything else would be immersion breaking. And so, of course, no one's doing it. But this was like, they just turned it. I guess, once again, very lucky. It's like, yeah, this just turned out to be really awesome. Like, everyone I spoke to, there was none of the usual that you would expect online. It was just like, oh, it's like, you know, 20-some-year-old, 30-some-year-old dudes like playing this game from across the other side of the world, and we were doing pretty well. And then like the last part, so the guy from the UK left us, and then it was just me and the first German guy, and we joined another game, and it was like 2 other Europeans joined our team, and everyone had mics, and it was really cool. And like me and the guy that I met initially, we were really low level. Like when I met him, that was like my 5th game, and he was like, oh, that's more than I've played. And so we didn't know anything. And we're just walking around trying to make shots and, you know, do things. And we joined, these 2 other people joined us, and they were like level 24, 25, and like leveling. It's not like Call of Duty. Like, it's super slow in Firewall, and you unlock more and more equipment and stuff. And so, like, in the beginning, you can just run over to the, like, laptop you're supposed to hack or whatever, and just hold down X, and it works. But then once people have higher levels, they can put, like, signal jammers, so you go over to the laptop and it's like, oh, the signal is jammed, and then you gotta, like, run around nearby to listen for this beeping that will tell you that the signal jammer is nearby, and then you gotta shoot it. And then later, like, we ran into this team that, I guess, like, not many people are playing the game, so at one point, one guy, he was with us, but then decided we sucked too much, and he left the game. And we were back in matchmaking, and then a moment later, like, he popped back in. And he's like, oh, he's back. And I was like, oh. It's like, wait, is this the only game that's running right now? He tried to leave us twice, but he kept coming back. And he was, like, totally cool about it, and we were just, like, laughing
He's like, why
about
won't
it.
you guys stop coming? Like, why won't you guys stop coming to my game?
And the team we were up against, it doesn't have Destiny's sort of like, oh, that was really unbalanced, so we're gonna break it up and then matchmake again. It's just like, if everyone decides to stay, then it just keeps going. And the other team's like, wow, they're really good. And the guy who tried to leave was like, yeah, they're really good. I usually play with them. I was like, oh, okay. And we just got wrecked, like game after game after game after game after game. And surprisingly, like, our team was kind of cool about it. It was sort of like my attitude. It's like, yes, we do want to win, but it doesn't matter so much that we lose. And it got to the point where we were just like, you know what, we're just going to try crazy strategies. I mean, it could happen. Who knows? And we were doing, like, shotgun train where everyone had shotguns, and we were just, like, walking a line until we found people. And, yeah, eventually we did win, but it took a long time. We had to wait for the right map to appear, and we had to be on defense, because on offense, we have to attack them, and we could never get past them. But on defense, then we could just sort of camp around the thing. And we got on a map that was a hotel, and so it was just like narrow hallways, and there's only 4 entrances, and there's 4 of us. Like, yeah, we got it. The guy who tried to leave us did not believe, but it worked out. So
Obviously, he didn't believe. He tried to leave multiple times. So.
The third time, he was like, okay, so I'm going to try to leave again. So I'll see you if I end up back here. Oh, yeah. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good game. It's like a lot slower paced than, your Call of Duty or whatever. It reminds me of... It's even slower than maybe, like late game SOCOM when you're like the only guy left. But yeah, it feels like those kind of games. It's like tactical-ish. Movement is pretty slow because motion sickness and all that, and it's really cool though. It turned out really cool. I ended up playing like 4 or 5 hours straight. Never came out of VR, which is like in VR the whole time. And I was like, oh, that's surprisingly comfortable game, I guess, despite having your character in the game like moving around and going upstairs and stuff occasionally. But it was really awesome. So I hope I hope all of my encounters with Firewall are going to be like that. Who knows? Probably not, but who knows? And then I got the PlayStation Classic.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, so I watched the reviews, especially like Digital Foundry's like tech review, which was like, apparently PlayStation Classic is really bad. Like, emulation is not optimized, so the games run worse than on original hardware. And then to top it off, like, some of the games, they chose the PAL versions for some reason, and so they run like at 80% the speed that we would remember them to have run, like Tekken 3. I gotta say, like, I played it. Maybe I didn't play Tekken 3 that much because the first time I had Tekken 3, I also had Tekken Tag Tournament, so like, why would I play Tekken 3? But yeah, like, for me, I cannot tell the difference. I'm sure if I saw it like side by side, then I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, this one definitely is faster. But just playing Tekken 3 based off of my memory, what was that, 2000 when PS2 first came out. Like, I cannot tell at all. Yeah, like one of the things Digital Foundry was talking about was like they feel like this does damage to the original PlayStation's legacy because people, they'll play these games and think, well, they're jank, but that's what games were like back then compared to now. And it's just not true. Like, yes, they weren't jank, but not to this extent. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. I think if you're like going on the reviews, like actual reviews, like there's a lot of reviews that are just like, this game selection is terrible. Like, why did they send you a box? Like, you didn't need to see it to know that, to make that opinion. Like, you just needed the list of games, which everyone had, and we didn't need the box to make that to form that opinion. Yeah, actual reviews, then you might think, oh, it's really bad, but I think generally, like, I don't know if most people are going to be able to tell. Granted, I haven't played most of the stuff on there yet. I tried some Tekken 3, that seemed pretty normal. Battle Arena, I think back in the day I played the second one. And so this one's like, it's like kind of familiar. And then I just tried like random stuff. So I played Cool Borders 2, which I had no idea what it was going to be like, having had no idea that the game existed. And trying is like, well, this is, weird. It's not SSX. But okay, it seems okay. Yeah, I don't know. Probably, I would have preferred that it was sound on the technical side and everything, but it seems not that bad to me. If there was no internet today, I don't know that I would have noticed that anything was wrong.
That's kind of the problem with the internet, is like, things kind of get blown out of proportion sometimes. Aspect and drama of animation, I'm just saying. Was it really that bad?
I mean, I kind of agree, but on the other hand, like, it is nice that, there are certain things that will never change if no one reviews them. So it's sort of like an accountability thing, whereas like if there isn't that authority voice out there that's looking at certain aspects that other people aren't, then game makers are just kind of like, well, nobody's going to notice, so whatever. I'm trying to think. Did I try any of the other games on there? I didn't jump into any of the RPGs yet because they're long. I'm bad at long games. Oh wait, I also got the Persona dancing games, and I'm like really bad at them. So bad.
Tropicals, what you've been playing is always just a string of how bad he is at everything. It's like, so I got this, but I'm terrible at it. I got this, I played this, but I'm also terrible at it. I played this game, but I'm terrible at it as well. It's like, I don't know.
I think I have the most fun. There's no pressure to be good because I'm like, well, I'm not. Yeah, I want to win, but whatever. I had fun.
Life gave him lemons, guys, and he made apple juice with it. So
I am God.
try Optical.
No, it's been a really weird week. Like, YouTube started recommending to me angry video game nerd videos for some reason. And I was like, I watched some of these back when game trailers was still a thing, so sure, I'll watch a few. And I had recently, like, a game dev friend of mine had recently talked about, like, how negative basically all game critics appear to be. And I was just like, well, it's probably because Angry Video Game Nerd was so successful back in the day, and it inspired the copycats. They were like, oh, look, this guy is making tons of bank by being super, super rude and angry. I'm going to be that too. And so, you know, like, there's Angry Joe and Annoyed Gamer and Angry Reviews, and there's just like tons of angry whatever video game something. And he replied back to me, he's like, well, at least Angry Video Game Nerd is like entertainment. Like, his shows aren't just like yelling a lot at a game. And much of it is, but then there's also like special effects and like these weird plot lines that happen. And yeah, so I was watching them. It's like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, his early runs really are just like, he's just really angry at that game. And that's kind of it. But later ones, like, oh, they get really fancy. He's got traveling to alternate dimensions and it's just like really insane stuff. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so suddenly I was like, I want to play some classic games, like really, really old stuff, and, you know, learn more about them. And I was like, I went to the library and tried to find game magazines from the mid-90s, and they're just like, oh, we don't have them. Our oldest ones are from 2007. I was like, what? That's not good enough. So I've been like trying to figure out, how can I turn back time and see what it was like back then? And it's just been this huge, you know, the internet Wikipedia rabbit hole of just how game history is not really preserved and how difficult it is now because just like it costs a lot of money. People are selling like game magazines for so much and the shipping is so much and just like yeah, I saw a lot of interesting game stuff from the past recently. Anyway, that's all I've been playing. RPG?
Yes. Well, I downloaded some games.
Yay!
So, you know, progress. Because I mean, you know, this stuff is free for PSN or PlayStation Plus right now. So I downloaded Soma and I was gonna start playing it, but then it was like there's stealth required. I was like, well, I already know I'm not gonna be able to play this game, so there goes that. But apparently they do have a safe mode or something
where there's no like
where the stealth doesn't matter. Yeah, so I was like, maybe I should just play in safe mode. But I was like, but I want the full game experience if I'm going to play this. It's like, so I was like, I don't know what to do here. So
I'm going to play it in safe mode.
I started it in normal mode. I was like, if I'm doing this, then I'm doing this. So but I only played it briefly because I didn't really like the gameplay style from what I played so far. So I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, so we'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes. And then I briefly played Onrush. Because Tropical was talking about it the other time, and he was all like, "It's the best game to ever, best inside of best town." And I was like, I was like, well, that's a pretty shining endorsement. So I played it a little bit. It's an interesting little game because it's kind of like a destruction derby, but not.
I mean, it's no Beat Saber. It's pretty good.
It's no Beat Saber. Another shining endorsement by Tropical. But yeah, no, because it's like you're like driving in these packs, I guess, and then you're supposed to be like taking down cars and other team peoples and stuff, but there's no actual finish line in these races, so they just go on forever and ever and ever and ever.
Until you do the thing.
Until you do the thing that they want you to do, and then the race actually ends. So there's that. But been mainly playing. Well, I was playing Nier Automata because I still haven't finished that for some reason. So kind of just been fooling around in that game, and then I keep getting sidetracked whenever I play that game. See, this is why I can't play open world games, because it's like I could be doing the main stuff, but then I'm not doing the main stuff like I should be. So I always end up fishing or fighting random robots or something and helping them improve their lives. So, it's kind of very, very annoying to try to play a game that you like, but then it's just like, LOLs, you can't actually play it because side quest everywhere. Side quest everywhere. So, yeah. It is still fun to play, though, because, the battle system's pretty cool. And it's all cinematic and stylish and stuff, so that's nice at least. And I don't use weapons when I play, so I've been playing as just a monk for the whole game so far. So it's been fun too. And then other than that, I've been playing Valkyria Chronicles 4. I actually started doing the story missions in that one, so I can kind of move ahead now that I've power leveled quite a few of my classes up to elite now, so to do that stuff. And then I think they're hinting at the Valkyr showing up soon, so things usually get pretty interesting around that time in this series, so it should be fun. But that's pretty much all I've been playing.
So I just want to give a brief aimless adventure of I went on the store to get Beat Saber, and lo and behold, there's a flash sale, and it's like, clearly the store is tempting me, but it's like, no, Tropical said that I'd get this, no one regret it or something, so I'm gonna not regret it. So I guess we'll see on all those.
Did you regret it?
I haven't played it, so it has yet to happen. So.
So then technically you do regret it because you got it and they haven't played it even though there was a flash sale going on and haven't been able to just get the flash sale stuff that you wanted.
It's fine, but they'll be at the end of the year, so I was a little worried about it.
That's what you think until the darkest timeline takes over and everything goes to crap.
We're good for another month. Kingdom Hearts 3 is not out yet, so
Woo! Well, technically, it's another 2 months. I have to actually finish the game, so you're safe. You're safe for now.
All right, so I guess that's it for what you've been playing. What is your hypothetical this week, Tropical?
Yes, the return of Hypothetical Hour.
Yay.
Alliterative if you write it. True if it's an hour.
Is this if God was one of us?
Which one was that? Yeah. I just thought to say, what was that theme song for this one?
We've missed you. Yeah, remember when the PS3 was ending and the PS4 was, I guess we almost knew about it? I don't think we knew about it yet. But we talked about the crash, another crash for the game industry. I don't remember exactly why we thought that.
Probably another Darkest Timeline situation going on, but just game related.
We hadn't reached the Darkest Timeline yet.
I know, that's why I just said
we were on the path. We were
We
on the
just
path to
didn't
the
know it.
darkest. We didn't know it yet. Um, yeah, today I was wondering if the crash had happened, what was it like, and what would we be doing now?
You would be in like some kind of post-apocalyptic world where it's like secret camps where people are black market trading games and like sitting around campfires and telling stories of the glory days of gaming. Kind of like the beginning of Final Fantasy X, except it'll be all our stories. All of our stories.
Well, let's say like new consoles were announced and they were like super expensive, like $800 consoles.
Oh my. That might be a bit, I don't know. It might be a bit pricey, man. I mean, there's still going to be those people out there that still manage to do it day one because, I mean, some people have the funds to do that. But then all the groups of fans that can't necessarily enter the new console generation at that means the sales are going to be low. And if that's the case, then that means all those pretty awesome games that they were all banking on are probably going to go to the wayside, which means a lot of studios are probably going to lose their money, which means they're going to have to lay off all their employees, which means they're all going to get fired, and then they're not going to be able to support themselves, so they're going to lose their house, their kids, their families, then everything's just going to go to crap, then they're going to be living under bridges, and then they're going to start robbing random people because they released super expensive consoles. And, it could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. So then there's going to be like roaming packs of game developers and studio peoples that are just like going around in these games, and they're like, "Hey, come out to play!" At people's houses, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" they're here, they're outside. Hide! Don't make any noises. And then they're just going to be like hiding in the closet and shivering and like covering their mouths, like hoping that nobody hears them breathe before they like come in and ransack them, just because they have to make a living, all because they couldn't afford to do so. And it's just going to be a mess. It's just going to be a mess. And then it's going to create countrywide anarchy, and then it's going to spread, and nobody's going to come help us because our country's a dumpster fire right now. So it's just going to be horrible. It's just going to be horrible.
Okay, Chacho, that's kind of hard to follow after RPG's whole spiel there. What were the two questions? Like, how does it happen, and how does it what?
Right. So, how do you think it happened? And what would we be doing today?
Okay, so how it happens
5 years after the crash.
How it happens is publishers get super duper greedy, and they're like, "You're only working on this one franchise. You're not going to do anything else." And then, slowly but surely, developers are making those games. But then it's not good enough for the publisher, and they're like, "You know what you need to do? You need to pump it full of microtransactions and make it so we could just make even more off the top of what we sold it for." And then the games start getting designed where they're open and hollow and boring and not fun, kind of like the current state of affairs with open world games with Shadow War. And it's like, man, I mean, I haven't played that game, but I can only go off reviews where it's like, you got to a point and it's just a grind fest, because how can we extract the money that we want to get all that profit? We just gotta make the user pump all their money into the game. They put money in, nothing comes out, and when it does, it's just a virtual item. We're not gonna lose any money off of that. Ah ha 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 ha. So you got all these empty, soulless games of just like grinding and open world terribleness. And then it's like, eventually, the user base is like, "You know what? I'm done." And they stop playing those games. And then, yeah, there's a lot more games. But then it's like anything that has like anything to do with like DLC or microtransactions, they're just like, "No, I don't want it. I want to go back to the old ways of what I knew was going to be on the disc, and the game I was going to get was the game I was going to get. I wasn't being promised all these season passes and DLCs and expansions and add-ons. And now, it's too much. I'm not going to take it anymore." And then there was a whole everybody voted with their wallet, and they're like, "I'm not spending effing anything, motherfuckers." And then nobody got any money, and everybody's broke, and it was like the great collapse of the AAA, and how it turned into a giant AAA graveyard because they all got too effing greedy, and we all paid for it. And then all that was left was like retro stuff and
mobile
stuff.
games.
Oh god, RPG. Oh no, that's even worse than I was gonna say.
Do mobile games survive that?
I mean, we have cell phones still, so
Yeah, they're filth.
Technically.
They're filth that you just put out to like.
Or they're all just Flappy Bird clones.
Yeah, it's just filth that is made to monetize user time. To be like, oh, what's that? You want you want more clicks on your cow clicker? Well, put some money in. Or for your golden bell of hay to feed your cow for like an hour.
Yeah,
You can play,
like eventually they're gonna start like getting expansion packs for our apps or something. It's like, you want this new language pack for your translator? Well, you have to just spend this money now while it's on sale and you can have it. Or like for your calculator, it's like, you want to be able to multiply? Buy the season pass for your calculator now. And it's just gonna kind of spread from there.
Ah, yes, the great Moneygate of 2013. That's how it all started and how we get there. And then
There's X to pay your respects.
what was the second part of the question, Tropical? How we get there and how we what?
So what would today be like if that had
Yes,
happened
like
5
RPG
years ago?
said, it would be all that's left is
Filming
the landfill
games?
of the sky in the cloud of the mobile filth, and it just rains everywhere because that's all you get. There's no. You want production values. You want sweet graphics on level 7. You want amazing features and textures and all this other crap. Well, guess what? It's all dead. It's all gone. And it all went to the wayside. It's all white noise. It's like you're never going to get it ever again. And then, I mean, maybe Nintendo survives. Maybe there's like an indie scene, like I said. But like, besides like very few and far between, it's like you're not getting any AAA stuff. And then like the middle tier stuff is like crap, and just like nothing is as good as it is. There's no horizon. There's no effing.
Could you imagine telling your kids the bedtime stories of like, those things you play on your phone? There used to be giant versions of them with graphics
And
storylines
and characters. They had names. You weren't
like,
just
what?
user number, name, letter thing, and the money to get you all your money out of you. No, you were the shepherd. You were saving the world from the reapers. You were the outrider in the Andromeda galaxy, doing things for the
You're
Andromeda
also
initiative.
stabbing robot dinosaurs in the butt.
And that's.
Don't forget the butt stabbing.
You knew about the dolphin purees. You read about them. You read about them. You knew it was coming. You knew it was a bad thing. Technology. It had to be stopped, but you didn't stop it. They didn't stop it in time, and it ruined the industry.
They actually did the opposite of stopping it. They built more technology in order to save them from technology, which was not really a good idea. Because they done goofed on that one.
That's actually funny because that's exactly what happened in Mass Effect. It's like, you know what we need? You know what we need for this Leviathan thing? We need more synthetics. And that didn't work out too well.
It's like, do you guys think that's a good idea? You know what? We don't need your kind of negativity here. Get out. Get out of the meeting room. It's like, oh man. The next thing you know. So, yeah. Now, what if though? Because, okay, bear with me here. Because Tekken mentioned earlier how Microsoft is buying these companies and letting them die. Now, what if they're intentionally trying to cause a crash by doing so? Because they're buying up they're starting off small. They're like, okay, we'll grab the companies they're semi-known, but they're not going to be like, if they disappear, people are going to miss them kind of thing. Because, I mean, what is the last thing Rare did that anybody cared about? Exactly nothing. So it's like they're taking them and they're just like, let's do this slowly so it's not obvious. But then we're going to start working our way up to bigger studios and bigger games. And then, they'll mysteriously get canceled or this and this and this. And then next thing you know, it's like, all that's left is Microsoft. And then they're like, haha, let us save you from your great crash. And then they're going to look all like the superheroes of the gaming industry because they're like, everybody's going to be like, oh my gosh, you guys saved us from ourselves because all these studios and stuff closed down, even though it was technically Microsoft's fault to begin with. And then they're just going to be like, let us save this industry. And then eventually they're going to become super popular, and then Sony and Nintendo are going to kind of just like fade into the background because they're like, well, we can't compete with that. I mean, they saved the gaming world as we know it. And then they're going to become all monopolizing everything from computer software to gaming software and hardware. And then they're just going to take over the world. And then that's how Final Fantasy VII happened. So, yeah. Enjoy, guys.
Fun. Yeah, I think if the game industry had crashed 5 years ago, I think GameStop somehow would still be around. They might become like completely retro / merchandise, yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why they probably snapped up Thinky, because they were probably like anticipating some type of, I don't know, semi-crash, or at least in the physical market or something.
Actually,
so they're kind of
kind of in trouble if you've been paying attention to their financials.
They're not doing super good.
Money.
Dun dun dun.
So it's like their time is up. They are becoming like Blockbuster, and they can't really do anything because they have nothing else to go on.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, because like when any type of advancements happens, I mean, a lot of times something has to give. Yeah. So with GameStop, with everybody kind of like jumping on the whole digital or being able to order online for anything they need, so you don't have to go into these stores with these incompetent sales people, and then it's like you can kind of just cut out the middleman and get what you want without having to worry about if somebody can find the game you pre-ordered and wondering like, oh, where'd I put it? Oh my god, I don't know where it is. I have to wait until next week when the other person comes in to find it for me. Stupid. So it's like in situations, so it's like it's one of those things. It's like you can kind of see them struggle, or at least them trying to remain relevant in the current market. But it's like with so many other things going on, with you able to when now you can kind of like, I mean, even with like, even though streaming isn't like gigantic yet, it's like you could kind of see the buds of it being planted. So it's like once the technology is there, it's like you can stream games, you can buy games online, you can buy digital. It's like you won't have to go to GameStop to do these kinds of things. So it's like, of course they're in trouble now, because it's like, crap, what are we gonna do? Because like at least with other stores that sell games, they don't. It's not something that they sell exclusively. So like Targets and Walmarts and stuff like that, like they have so many other things that they sell, and then they also just happen to have like a game section in their
that like analogy you just made like made me think of Toys R Us. It's like no more toys, no more toy shops, no more games, no more GameStops.
Exactly,
and they already like consolidated because they bought EB and Rhino Games and all the other like smaller game stores, and like board cubed them into one giant GameStopness.
Basically, just to destroy them all, because the rate they're going, they're not going to last much longer. So it's going to be a similar scenario where it's just going to be like, well, you guys are done. So the only people that'll be still selling games are physically will probably be the ones that are like I said, the ones that are like Target and Walmart and like the places that have like other like things going on other than just games. Too. Yeah. So
that is, man, that's crazy. Because like if you buy a digital game, you're not going to trade it in, and then it's like, if I'm not trading the game in, how's GameStop going to sell it for $50 more than it's worth? A-holes?
Also that, yes. Also
that. That's how they get you. F them.
Although I'm pretty curious as to how, because I mean, I'm pretty sure when they first started, like the whole trade-in thing was like a viable source for them, but then it's like I'm kind of curious as to how much they had actually been making from it recently, with people not necessarily trading in games anymore, or if they can't, because they're buying digital games, so they can't really trade them anymore, kind of thing. So, or if somebody or people starting to get interested in streaming games and stuff, so they're like, oh, let me do this PlayStation Now and stuff like that, and then instead of actually like even bothering to go the whole buy it route, instead they just basically are renting things again. So it's like,
or it's like,
I'm
or it's
curious.
like we do it like the old-fashioned Netflix, where I just sit in the game and like GameFly, and I get a daily game. It's magical, but old, but magical. Or Redbox, it's like, oh, I just see the thing I want and I get it. It's like not $60, ha ha ha, and yeah, I can just keep it however many days and then I send it back.
And you don't have to deal with idiots. So
It's
bonus.
like Blockbuster if they still existed, but just games, or games and movies actually. Except except they weren't getting destroyed by Netflix. So.
As a matter of fact, isn't Blockbuster like offered to buy Netflix, or was it the other way around or something? And
Yeah.
like one of them was
They
like,
said no.
And I was like,
Blockbuster said no.
wah. Hindsight, man.
But yeah, I think GameStop would be better off today, maybe, if there had been a crash 5 years ago.
They actually probably would have been, yeah.
Because they've like stockpiled all this used old stuff that they could transition into that, and since industry crashed, then there's no new stuff coming out, so it's just the old stuff. You still want to play games?
Check out these cool retro
you gotta get all the old
consoles.
stuff.
Retro, that's funny.
Whereas today, because there was no crash,
Yeah,
digital became a thing. Streaming is becoming a thing. I think GameStop still is probably around 50% of their money is from used.
trade-ins and stuff.
Yeah. But even when I worked there many, many years ago, like, I thought that they should be doing, like, diversifying. And although, well, when I think about it, I guess maybe at the time there wasn't enough, like, Think Geek type stuff out there for them to really sell a bunch of it. But now there is, and yeah, I don't know if it's like.
But I don't know how much like they would probably be making off of that though, because again, those are still things you can buy like online and stuff instead of having to go into their stores to get it. So, because like I understand why they did do that, but at the same time, I'm like, well, if I really wanted this mug, I can just order it.
The next step for GameStop to survive is like they got to make their stores places that people want to go.
Well, that's
like right now, people don't want to go there. They go there if they must, but it's not like, ooh, yeah, like back in the day with arcades. Oh, we're going to the mall. I'm going to go to the arcade.
Oh yeah, arcades did die out. They crashed.
That was a long time ago.
But that was because home consoles became a thing, and again, anytime there's advancements, something's got to give. And unfortunately, arcades are one of them. Although, I mean, I've still seen some cool arcades around that are it's still pretty nice to kind of like, go in and play games. And I mean, they don't necessarily have to be the newest games, but it's like they're games you might not necessarily be able to find at home or, do anymore. So I mean, the cute little mom and pop arcades they're all right, but yeah, it was kind of sad to see them go, because I remember we used to go to, because there was one called Grand Prix Racerama down here that we used to go to like a lot, and they had like all these the ride video game machines that you can get in, and the simulations and all that stuff, and the various, and I mean they were huge, because I mean they also had like the Golf-A-Rama that was next door that also had its own arcade thing, and it was a pretty popular place. I'm not sure how they're doing now because I haven't been in like years, but
gone.
Because I mean,
wherever she goes, it's like just a parking lot. He's like,
just like on my knees in the rain, like they did it, They finally did it. Because I haven't actually like been like I haven't had to drive past everything because it's a little bit north of where I live. But I think the roller coaster is still up, but I don't know if the arcades themselves are still functional or if they've been turned into something else. Because again, I haven't been in like forever and a day, so who even knows? Because I mean, I know places like Dave and Buster's still exist because they have other stuff going on instead of just
they diversified too.
Yeah, so like it's not just like, oh yeah, we're this one thing. They've had to kind of expand a bit to stay relevant. But even there, I haven't seen like a lot of business going through those either. So who even knows?
We're getting Dave and Buster's soon.
Oh, my Dave and Buster's is constantly sending me coupons.
They're
I
like,
was just like, please come back. You spent so much money the first week here.
miss you.
Yeah, I was like, I did.
And it's never happening again.
It's like, now you're gonna be a Blockbuster, Toys R Us, GameStop.
Oh man, I did play something at Dave and Buster's last week. They have this thing where it's just like unlimited game play on any of the games that don't give you tickets. So it's just like any video game, you can just like keep swiping and going.
That sounds like something I would travel back in time to terrify myself or me to be like, it's gonna be okay, ticket. There will be a time when you can go to Dave and Buster's and play games for as long as you want, as much as you want.
Well, it's not
On
just
one day of the week. It'll be
the
a
Grand
magical
Prix
day.
place I was talking about.
And
They used to
you'll
do.
have a girlfriend. I know. It'll be a magical time in your life. Dare I say the best? It'll be the darkest timeline, so it's like the best and the worst. But trust me,
I mean, if you said it like that, you'll probably call the police on your future self. And be like, some crazy guy in here. But no, like the Grand Prix place I was talking about, they used to do something similar where they would do like I think it was like every Tuesday or something. It was like unlimited games, so you just pay like some flat fee, and then you can pretty much play anything inside the arcades for as long as you want all day, basically. So, so that was fun to do too, because I was like, oh, this is great. Just gonna be here, and I'll just live here now.
Yeah, I went on Thursday, and it's like Thursdays, Mondays, and Sundays here. And I was there at 11 when they opened, and it was like unlimited wings and unlimited games for $20. And I was like, okay. So I ate a bunch of wings, and then like
accepted.
I started playing, and I was just like, you know what? At first I was like, oh, I'm gonna sample a bunch of different games, and then I thought, wait, that doesn't make sense. Like, I should just try to beat a game, because that's the thing I usually wouldn't be able to do.
Oh yeah.
Whereas I could go around and sample games, but then, I can play the beginning of any game by spending credits at some other point. I want to see the end of some games. And so I played the, I guess it's like the newest House of the Dead, Scarlet something.
What? There's another House of the Dead. I did not know this.
There are actual new arcade games at Dave & Buster's. Like, there's a company, Raw Thrills, that rose from the ashes of Midway.
Like a phoenix.
And they actually make, like, arcade machines with new games in them. There's like they made an arcade version of Tomb Raider.
Oh, I think I saw something on YouTube about this, because there was like a Halo one. And
Yeah,
some
there's a
other
big
one.
Halo thing. There's like a
Yeah.
Jurassic Park VR thing. And yeah, so
They're like the only game in town because everybody else is dead.
pretty much. In the hypothetical like crash, I think maybe arcades would be like, there would be more small arcades around, since no one would be able to afford, or in my version, no one would want to buy a $700-800 console.
So they go to arcades to kind of get their fix, like drug
Yeah.
addicts, and then go on about go back to their house and live their lives, and they're like, oh man, I gotta go back. I gotta
Shaky in the corner.
gotta shoot that zombie. I need it.
So what happened though was, like, I found out it's not perfect because their system. So you get one of their swipe cards, and the only difference is when you swipe it, it doesn't like take off any credits because there are none. It's just like a time one. And this was unlimited time, so I was just like, oh, cool. But then I guess to keep people from sharing the same card, there's a timer between every time that you can swipe it.
Oh, so you'd have to wait if it's like somebody trying to do a 2-player kind of thing.
Right. It's like, I think it's like 40 seconds, 30 seconds. And I got pretty far. Near the end, though, like some of those boss fights, you're dying so fast. And I died like within the 30 seconds since I last.
Oh no.
And then I was like, oh no, I died again. It's like, oh, that was way too fast. I think this is over. And I swiped again and I said, oh, you gotta wait another 30 seconds before you can swipe again. It was like, the continue timer is only 10 seconds.
It's like, I don't have time for this. I literally don't have time for this.
So I'm like, yeah, so I guess to beat these games, I need their unlimited time card and then a backup one in case I'm really rubbish and just like die over and over.
Or have a friend with you that can you guys can swipe out with each other until like, all right, it's your turn.
It was really cool. It was one of those enclosed ones, like there was like a Jurassic Park game back in the 90s that was like enclosed like a Jeep thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember those. I used to love those.
Well, like they have just I guess like rumble things in the floor and in the seat.
What?
So the seat, like there's a bench in there and it tells you exactly where to sit. And then like you're all rumbling in certain parts of the game, and then there's like air holes that blow air at you, and there's like explosions and stuff, and like the lights go on inside the booth, and it's just like, oh, it was pretty intense.
I was traumatized by a Disney attraction because of something like that. Just want to throw that out there.
Disney one? You mean one of the 4D movies?
No, because there was like a, I think it was in Tomorrowland or something. They had like some like little attraction thing where it's like, well, I mean, you didn't know it first and I was a kid at the time, so at first I was like, oh, this is fine. So there's like, it was supposed to be like this little cute little attraction where it's like you meet an alien for the first time or something, which that should have been red flags everywhere. So like we sat down and then like they're like communicating over the little and they strap you in and everything because again, red flags everywhere on this. So it's like they started talking over the little intercom and doing the little face chat things, and the aliens all nice and everything's like, yes, we get to meet you guys for the first time, so we just have to do the little teleportation thingy. So then of course the teleportation goes wrong and they beam in some weird giant monster thing instead, and then there's like the lights go out, there's breathing on your neck, and then all this other stuff is happening. I was like, well, I hate this, and this is horrible. Why didn't anyone think this is a good thing for children? So yeah, it was not pleasant. It was not pleasant at all. But I still love Disney.
Yeah, I was a little bit like unsure when I got in the booth, and I was like, sit here, and there was like a skeleton pelvis basically sticker on the seat where it says sit here, and I was like, I don't know, like you don't know what they're gonna do to you is the thing, and it's a horror game, and so, well, I mean, kind of, and so like you have given the game permission to do stuff to you basically if you're like house of the dead, I accept, and then they can do anything. But after a while I was like, oh, so the extent of it is like air and like really heavy rumble and bright lights and like shaking, and
there was saliva in our simulation. I cried that night.
Oh, man, that's like a whole other like level of like ESRB descriptors. pelvic rumble.
Like, is this an adult-only game?
Excretion.
Rated
Heavy
E for
breathing.
everyone. It's like,
Rated E question mark.
I'm gonna say, right?
Everyone.
Oh man.
Did you also test the limits of their unlimited wings?
No. The card lasts forever, but my time does not. So, yeah, what sucks is like I could go on Monday, and it was really, you know what you're talking about was like the traffic is not great. It's like I was the only person in the arcade. When I was eating, there was a few people there eating, but I mean, I guess it was 11 a.m. till like 1:30, so not really their prime time, but still, it's just like I'm the only one in the arcade. This is just me and not even the person who does like the prize exchange was there.
Like, just I'll be out back if you need me. Just call. Just you and all your insecurities. The best way to game.
Because there's like, there's another game there, which is, I don't remember the name of it, but it was. I remember reading an article about it where it was like, oh, this is like the scariest game in arcades, in the arcades. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that today. I have no idea what it is. Like, most of the arcade booth, like there's usually like a window in the back, and you can like look through and see what it is. And this one, it's just like there's nothing. You don't get to see.
We're gonna need all of your permission because there's no windows on
I just want to say, like, so sign this waiver form.
If you get into this booth, you have accepted.
You've consented to everything that's about to happen
consented to
to you.
everything.
It's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass on this.
Oh man.
Or it's like you're walking in, and it's like this creepy voice of like, "You are now consenting. You have given consent."
That
That is a game that no one's gonna play.
I was about to say, like, yeah, I'm gonna walk out of this now. It's like, point of no return. It's too late. It's like, oh god.
The EULA is
Behind
like
the curtain to consent.
I think there's actually some haunted houses like that, because I know there's some where they can't touch you, but then there's some you actually have to sign waivers for, because it's like,
like, you can't touch them back.
it's like, I don't like this. So, actually, I wonder if our Dave and Buster does that thing, because I kind of want to test out this unlimited wing thing. Then be like, I have accepted your challenge.
Who is? Well, have you eaten at Dave and Buster?
I have. My mom forced me to take her to lunch there once.
It's like, it's okay.
It's
The
not
wings
about
were
the
okay.
tropical. It's about them honoring their deal.
I should have gone boneless then.
It's like, you told me it was unlimited. 600 wings is not unlimited. And that is how I got banned from Dave and Buster's.
Oh man, talking about it does make me want to go tomorrow, which is Thursday.
Tomorrow is Thursday, so this is your chance.
Another one.
To not disappoint me, Tropical. Not disappoint me.
I'll just be there and just eat the wings. No games this time. We're testing the limits of the wings. I already know I can't beat the game.
They're like, sir, you've been here for 7 hours. Go home. It's like, no, you said unlimited. You said unlimited. We don't have any wings left. We just don't. The truck doesn't come until tomorrow. It's like, well, guess where I'm going to be tomorrow then? Because you owe me my unlimited wings. And that is how Tropical got banned from Dave and Buster's.
No. Well, I guess that is the hypothetical hour. We went off on some tangents, but they were fun, right? You enjoyed the ride. It was great. It was non-traumatizing. There was no saliva involved.
Gosh, that was horrible. Who allows children on things like that? My parents are awful.
I remember the only one. Well, I was scared of like things that moved really fast, like roller coasters and stuff like that. So I'd never been on those as a kid. The ones that I remember the most, though, were like there was that one scene in Captain EO where and I don't even remember what it was. Like it pops out at you because it's like 3D. It's like a 4D movie.
Captain EO?
You don't remember Captain EO? It was like the Michael Jackson 4D thing that they had at Epcot.
I do not remember that.
Well, that was one thing. And then the other thing was I think it's supposed to be Night of the Living Dead on the Great Movie Ride at Hollywood Studios. That part of that ride and also the Aliens part of that ride freaked me out. They're very scary.
Well, yeah, both of those movies were built around building like this atmosphere. It's like, oh god, there's something behind me, isn't there? There's something behind me, isn't there? Oh my god, there's something behind me.
Like, it's weird. I distinctively remember that the alien comes down from the ceiling when you're in that section of the ride. And I remember because I had said I wanted to sit in the middle. So I was sitting in the middle, and my parents were on the sides. And then the alien came down the ceiling, which, of course, is over the middle.
No.
But, like, the Night of the Living Dead part, I remember it was scary, but I also remember that it was pretty funny, because on that run, like, the narrator tour guide guy said something like, oh, it's okay, they're not dangerous unless their eyes are glowing red, and then the eyes glow red. It's like, does anyone have any eye drops? And I was like, oh, that's funny.
It's funny because we're all gonna die. Yay!
That ride is gone forever. But I will always, those are the two things I'll remember about it always.
Gosh. I need to go back to Disney.
Me too. I was just there. Not too long ago. I guess we'll do our brief news section here. First thing is about Fallout 76. I thought this was pretty funny. There was a Power Armor edition, right? It was like $250 some or something.
That came with the helmet.
Yes, famously it came with a wearable power suit armor helmet. But another thing that it was supposed to come with was a canvas bag of some sort. And when people got it, it was not a canvas bag. It was a cheap nylon. I've heard it described as a cheap nylon trash bag.
Those lying
And people were like, what the heck? And at some point, like, someone had contacted Bethesda customer service, and they basically straight up said the canvas one was too expensive, and that's why we went with the nylon one. We were just like, what? And
it's like, but you should have said something beforehand, especially since people are paying out the butt for this edition, and you're going to be like, no, have this plastic bag instead.
Pretty much. It was pretty bad. There was other stories related to it. One was like, oh, actually they did make canvas bags, but they were for influencers that they gave out at one of their events or something. So they're like YouTubers out there with a canvas bag. And maybe this ends with a happy ending, because they basically announced recently that they will be sending out canvas bag replacements to people. They just have to I don't know, prove that they purchased it and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, hopefully. They said they worked it out with the manufacturer, so hopefully people will be getting the canvas bags that they thought they were going to get soon.
Yay!
Yay! Possible happy ending, darkest timeline.
Driving themselves to a higher score for reviews.
Oh, before they announced the replacement bags, they had originally announced that, oh, as compensation, we're going to give you 500 whatever their premium currency in Fallout 76 is called. And people were like, 500, so I can buy this bushel of flour. It was like basically nothing in the game. But yeah, hopefully this will be resolved shortly. Canvas bag to all the people who wanted that.
Yay!
Steam is going to have more competition soon because Epic Games, citing the strength of Fortnite, they're going to be opening their own PC game store.
Oh,
sometime
is that why
2019.
people were talking about them? I was wondering, like, why people were talking about Epic. I was like, what's happening? But I couldn't find the story or whatever was going on.
Yeah, so essentially Steam recently, I think in the past 2 weeks, announced that they were going to change their revenue share program. So it's kind of been standard, like Steam takes 30% of your sales and you get 70% as a developer. They decided to change it for big games. And how is that defined? Big games as in, essentially, after you reach $10 million in sales, they reduce the percentage that Steam takes. So you get more money. You get a higher percentage of the money, the more money you make. The more copies your game sells. And like indie developers are like, wait, why are you guys doing this? Like, so basically the big developers who don't need as much help will be able to make more money the more money they make. The rich helping the rich get richer.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Well, Valve's stance is that they want to reward those big games because, like, the big games sort of, they give visibility to the platform as a whole. Like, if there were no big games on Steam, maybe there would be less people using Steam. And so
I hear a lot of people talking about the indie games they've bought while on Steam and stuff, so I don't know how true that is.
I really don't know. It's just like, from the developer standpoint, it was just like, this is kind of a weird thing that they're doing, but whatever, Constantly optimistic Americans. It's like, we just haven't won the lottery yet. It's gonna happen. It just hasn't happened yet.
When will people learn that they're in the darkest timeline?
So, constantly optimistic is like, well, someday when I hit 10 million sales, then I'll be able to pay less royalties. Yay!
The narrator said, but he didn't. But he didn't make his 10 million in sales.
So, yeah, like basically right off of this news, Epic Games announced, we're gonna, start our own game store. Our royalty share program will be 18% for us and 82% for developers. And so it's just like a much better deal.
Because they don't need it because they got Fortnite money!
Apparently. Well, that's part of it. The other part is the, I guess, like, through dealing with all the microtransactions and stuff in Fortnite, Epic has gained the experience to be their own game store. It's like, we've been a store. We're like the early days of Amazon when we just sold books. Now we're ready to branch out into other things like diapers and shoes.
Wait, Amazon only sold books when it first started?
Amazon was a bookstore.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Amazon was a bookstore.
Yeah.
That is so weird. What? I didn't know that. That is great. That is great. You really do learn something new every day. Wonderful.
Amazon was a bookstore, yes. Then they killed all the bookstores and now are building bookstores on the ashes of the old bookstores that they killed.
I mean, when you say it like that, it makes them sound horrible, but...
Yeah, it's a pretty cool... I mean, I don't know. I used to think it was really cool to have Steam and just have, one place I could go for my entire library. It was sort of like when everything was on Netflix, and then suddenly there was Hulu and Crunchyroll and just all this stuff, and suddenly, like, your library is everywhere, which wasn't as great, and yet also kind of great because... Well, no, that's wrong analogy because you pay for all of those.
I just was about to say, no, these are free. These are not free things.
But like having different game stores, like the game store itself is free to download, and then they do different sales and stuff. So, I'm not sure.
I'm interested to see how that goes, because...
someone who has like hundreds of games on Steam and doesn't want to buy them all over again anywhere else, and probably isn't going to buy them all over again anywhere else, and can't really run any games currently on their computer. It's like, I think I'm kind of tied to my Steam account, and I'm fine with that. And good luck with everything, Epic. I'm sure, right now with all this Fortnite money you're enjoying, you might think, oh, good idea. We might be winning this in the long haul, but
Well,
let's just see how long that lasts for you.
Because I mean. It seems like that now, but once they start their store, that means like things can release on it like going forward. It's not necessarily like the back catalog. I mean, obviously trying to beat out Steam in that regard is going to be very difficult, but it's like future stuff. And then on top of that, because of who they are, they can have like exclusive stuff coming from their stores for like special deals and stuff for any of their stuff that's their games based and stuff like that too. So I mean,
doing anything with any of their properties besides Fortnite right now, so that's not even an issue.
Well, not for their properties. Just like as a developer, if you look at it, it's like, well, I can make more money on. And I don't think this will necessarily happen initially because I think most developers will look at it and be like, well, Steam is where everyone is, so I definitely want to be on Steam, but. If I make sales on the Epic Game Store, I will make more money per sale. So I'm going to want to put it on both of them, probably. There was also another aspect of this deal where, so right now, if you build a game in Unreal Engine, it's you pay royalties after you've reached certain sales amounts to Epic. So Unreal Engine is free. But if you sell a bunch of copies of your game, then you have to start paying some of that money. Or I think maybe it's initially like it just starts at 0 and you pay royalties per copy sold. If you release on the Epic Store, though, they waive that fee.
Which I was gonna mention too. I was like, I'm pretty sure a lot of games use the engine that they made, so it's like they probably would have deals for that too. So there's that.
Yeah, so at some point, some developer might be like, it will be way cheaper for me to just release on the Epic Store, because then I won't have to pay royalties, and I'll make more per copy sold. And then there'll be some like de facto exclusives, timed exclusives probably, because I think eventually still they'll be like, all right, I've made enough. Let's see how much more I can make if I put it on Steam.
Yeah.
I, for one, preferred it when everything was on Netflix. For the record, just saying.
Yes.
Because
because it was easier.
And you have to pay for all the other ones. It was easier when everything was on Netflix.
Like
but like Steam and
now it's like cable TV on the internet because that's what it is. It's like streaming services are now cable TV networks, and it's like
we escaped cable just to end back up into cable. Yeah.
It's still cheaper though because we don't have to pay for live sports.
That is true. That is true. That's true because I get everything I want just from Netflix and Hulu, and it's like it's significantly cheaper than me like paying for a cable package. So,
Or you could always steal it. Just saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you should. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying there's always that option. It's like, you're on the Internet of Things, and you can get those free if you know what you're doing. I'm just saying, Wreck-It Raccoon, I wink. Just so you know.
Tekken.
We have secrets. We have ways and secrets.
We at Aimless Podcast do not condone stealing or piracy in any way.
The PlayStation Now deals are back.
They are.
It's the Black Friday deal too, so you can actually get a year of PlayStation Now for $80, less than $7 a month. The library has expanded to 700 plus titles.
Oh my!
Because this past Tuesday they added another 50 games, all PlayStation 4 games that you can download to your system if you have a PS4.
700 games for $80 in a year. I mean, you're not going to play all 700, obviously, but considering the price of one game for $700,
$20, and that's like that many games for one game, or special edition, or whatever, or ultimate
basically
edition, or
a limited edition.
Yeah,
because anything
or
beyond
game
limited
and
edition is
season
now like
pass that you
$6
should
million
not be buying.
now. So I mean, that's a pretty good deal if you have the hard-earned internet to manage it.
Yes, as long as you don't have bandwidth caps, it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, which brings us back to the whole streaming thing of like, it's all great. It's all great and fun and awesome. And it's like, we got bandwidth caps now. It's like, oh, well.
Well, for now. It's
not
anytime
quite as utopian as I was expecting.
There's growing pains with everything that's new. So, I mean, eventually it will get to the point where it's just like some kind of weird super internet that we'll have and not have to worry about it.
That's what we're waiting for. Super internet.
Trademark.
Shazam! Bring me my super internet.
It's like I already have. Shazam! Man, I'm gonna be pissed if these things happen. I'm gonna be like, you guys owe us royalties. These all came out of our podcast.
New internet company called Shazam.
Like, this sounds awfully familiar.
Shazam is rolling out super internet for everyone.
It's like, God damn it!
So notably on the post where they announced 50 new games, they did not tell us what the games were. Like usually there's a list of the new games that are added that month, but this time there was no list. And so I went and found all of the games. And I guess I can kind of see why. Like, a lot of the games, if you just looked at the list, are sort of like smaller games that don't necessarily generate excitement among peoples on the internet. So, I mean, it's things like Tron Run, which was like this infinite runner based off of the Tron movie. Tricky Towers, which was a PlayStation Plus free game.
Although that
was kind of like a
game.
physics Tetris game, right?
Yeah.
There was a bunch of like weird tiny games. Master Cube, Bokosuka Wars 2, Amazing Discoveries in Outer Space.
I have heard of none of these things.
Neurovoider, Obliteracers, Skyscraper.
Our titles tropical. I know what you're talking about. I'm sure the screenshot of the box art and the 10-word description are amazing on these games. Okay.
Maybe.
Define amazing. I've experienced multiple RRRs at this point, and
found some stuff. Animal XCOM.
Animal XCOM.
There was one called The Keeper of Four Elements. Not the Four Elements, just like a generic Four Elements.
Are they trying to get not sued by Avatar? Is that what they're trying to do? Like this guy is the Smavatar.
Yeah, the big one that they did announce in the release or post was For Honor is now on there.
Oh.
And then there was a game Dandara, which is from somewhere either South or Central America. It's a good looking game, though retro style. And then Adventure Time Pirates of the that word I don't remember in
Kyridian, probably. I'm guessing.
That one. That's on there now too. Natural Doctrine.
Ugh.
Oh
gosh, that game is terrible.
Velocity 2X is on there now.
Don't play Natural Doctrine, everyone out there. Don't play it.
Even now that it's free with my subscription?
No, it's still terrible. Not even worth it. Not even worth the free price. They should pay you to play it.
Oh no.
So much potential. So much potential. But horribly, horribly executed. Good job, developer was for that. Good job.
Missed or haven't heard of, then
It's true. I do like watching random crap on Netflix.
yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what this is. Let me watch it anyway.
Like there is random crap on